All right, welcome back to Cause Streams TV, everyone. I am Cause, and let's talk about the release of 11.17. And in my opinion, and I'm probably wrong because I don't do a lot of the casual stuff, this entire season has so far been the season of increased power. That is really what we should call it, because it looks like every single time there's a new patch, all we're doing is getting another item or another set of eye levels or something that makes us more powerful. Now, that's not exactly a bad thing. Previously, in the World of Warcraft, we were known to have something called borrowed power. We would get all these special abilities. Like, you guys remember in Legion, we had the weapon, we had the Heart of Azeroth in BFA, and that used to give us that ability to just get stronger. But then a new expansion would kick off, a new patch would kick off, and we would feel weaker than we did before because they ripped that out and took it away from us. Now, that philosophy has somewhat changed, because now the way Blizzard does it is they give us these items and these boosts, and the way next season is going to work is that belt that we got that was just released in 11.17, it may give us that power boost up into season 3, but I'm hoping the goal in season 3 is actually to get rid of it. I am kind of tired of seeing items from the previous season take up a slot. For example, Thirsty Circlet is a great ring, but I'm still using it on most of my characters because I can't replace it, and that's really starting to get frustrating because there's so many rings to choose from. I think that's something Blizzard needs to consider, because if you're gonna give us these items, you're taking away from the pool of items that we have. And especially with this belt, I feel bad for anyone who's crafted their belt and now has to replace it with this thing and craft another item. So it's a little frustrating the way they've handled this. I understand it's a new thing to give us more power to help us through, and I think there's like some story that got released. I haven't done any of the campaign for a while now. I've kind of just fallen off the cliff with that. But that's kind of my feeling about 11.7 and where we're at today. I truly think this season is just about getting continuous power creeps instead of nerfing the content, because usually you get tons of raid nerfs, tons of dungeon nerfs. All they've done now is made us stronger so we can push that ceiling in Mythic Plus, and we can push bosses faster to skip mechanics, which I do not like that philosophy. Especially in raid, it takes the reward system completely out of it. It doesn't feel rewarding to go and kill sprockets so fast that you'll never see the second blowback in the Mythic version of the fight, because that is part of the fight. That is what made the fight challenging and interesting. So I don't like the philosophy Blizzard is going. More so in raid, it's cool in Mythic Plus because you can push a little higher. The problem with that is now we're seeing players that have no business being in 13s and 14s in those keys, and more are disbanding. So it becomes so it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's nice to have, but at the same time, you've got underqualified people going into keys that they are not qualified for. So it's been, and this is part of the reason that for me, I've really taken a step back. Like, I do not push Mythic Plus this season. I've lost that desire, because every time I go in, you have people with 3K plus IO. Anywhere between 3K and 3,200 is a mixed bag. You're going to have some players that are good and some players that have just had the time to repeatedly hit the wall with these keys till they finally timed one, and that's where they're getting the IO, meaning they don't use utility, they don't use health pots, they don't use defensives, and that's my frustration. So I've definitely been enjoying playing with friends. We've been doing a bunch of stuff. We did a bunch of keys last week with friends. They were mainly successful. I actually had fun though, even when they did fail. Last week, surprisingly, we had more disbands and completions than the last 3 or 4 weeks. That was kind of weird, so I don't know what's going on in that department. But what are some of the other things we did in week 15, because that is finally over. So a couple of the other things we did do last week, we got Gallywix in raid down to 8%. So I'm really excited. Hopefully by the time this video airs, and I said this about Muggsy and it didn't happen, but hopefully by the time this video airs, we've downed Gallywix and we have our CE. So really hoping that happens Tuesday night. If not, we'll scream silently inside and share just in our next video. So I'm really excited to see us get CE, and then probably do a couple of reclears and hopefully take a bit of a break. I'm hoping to take my Pally into those reclears. Some of the other things I tried out the Dastardly duels thing. I still really don't understand what this game mode is about. Like, Blizzard keeps releasing these things and I have to go to third-party websites to understand them, and like, if they're aiming to have like this move into the console world, they really need to do a better job of explaining what these things are in game, because I just took the quest, did the thing inside the arena and left. I don't even know if that's what I'm supposed to do, but I think if I do it every week I get some sort of a reward. I have no idea. But anyway, so I did try a little bit of that, and then we also did do a little bit of pushing, not really pushing, but we did do keys on our tanks, so we got some vaults to look at. I'm excited for that. Ooh, and the other thing I tried, which just I'm dreading having to do this with all of the masks, and yeah, you guessed it, it's visions. I do not like visions. It's a recycled, useless game mode. It is not fun, and the new masks make it even more miserable. So I'm missing the Vengeance mask, which I'll get this week from Stormwind, but I did try a 7 mask run, and I got to the Hulk in Orgrimmar, and it basically one-shot. It threw me over, and I died, and I was just extremely frustrated and upset, and I just kind of logged off for the day because I'm dreading doing an 8 mask run. I will take my time and I will try to get those achievements, but oh man, it's just so dreadful. Why do we have these silly mechanics that drain 400% more sanity when you get there's things you just cannot kick and stun and get out of because you get slowed, like lead foot, and then things spawning under you and you have to move for the swirlies, and then you've got ads casted. It's just stop, Blizzard, stop with this recycled content that is actually just bad. So we did try that. We're gonna try that again. We're gonna try to do the 8 mask Stormwind this week, taking your time. I don't know how much energy I'm gonna put into it because like I said, I hate, and I don't use that word often, but I hate visions. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of my energy and mental brain capacity. So, but we did try that, and then we got a couple new mounts that we get to talk about, and we also got a gold update this week as well. So let's jump into the game. We're gonna jump into our vaults. So starting off with the DK, we are still exactly where we were before, 380 IO and 677 item level. Let's open our vault. We're opening it in Blood Spec. I think I should really work towards getting my Dinar so I can get my last trinket that I need. And we have Mythic Track legs, kind of useless. And then we also have a tier veteran piece. We don't have this appearance. So do we take it for the LFR appearance? Or do we take sockets? And this will actually give us enough to get a socket. So we're going to take these sockets, and socket probably our helm, something along those lines. So another week of sockets for the Death Knight. And next up, we're going to take a look at the Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter did actually get some upgrades. First of all, we did buy... So with the Demon Hunter, we did get some IO increases. We did do 2 13s, a 13 Center Brewmetery and a 13 Priory, giving us about 26 IO, so that we get pushed up a little bit there. And then I did do some upgrades on our gear, bringing us up to 674 from 672. So DH is still needing some pieces, especially in the Mythic track. So hopefully in our vault today, we can get something that can be replaced in a Mythic track. And let's see what we get. We'll have 2 of the raid slots. We've got a Mythic track belt. Crit Mastery, okay, this isn't bad. It just replaces the one we have. It's the exact same belt, but okay. And then we have a Mythic Track headpiece. Now, this is definitely a huge stat upgrade, and I think I would have the... I don't have enough to upgrade it, but I think we need to take the headpiece, and then when we do some more keys, we upgrade it up to max Mythic Track since he won't be raiding. Let's see if we can do any of those upgrades right now. And we can go right up to 681, meaning that we can replace the headpiece we have now. The only downside is I have to buy the sockets again. I have to get the... I have to spend mementos to get the... Oh my god, I don't even know what it's called. The corruption. Jesus. That's how little I care about these visions. I don't even know what the head enchants are called. But I need to get the corruption enchant on this guy again. And next up, we're taking a look at our Druid. Actually, it's kind of funny with the Druid. I went in to do a key last week, and I ended up doing... I was meant to do a 10, and instead I forgot to drop the key, and we did a 12 mother load. So we are going to get a Mythic Track handpiece, which we already have, meaning the Druid gets sockets, and that means he'll have 4, almost enough to get another socket piece on the Druid. The only thing that happened on the Druid outside of that is we finally crafted our wrists to replace the 603s we had. That was a huge upgrade. And then no real IO gains, as I haven't really been pushing on him. So maybe the Druid will see some play, but we really do need to work on getting him some upgrades in here. And here's the character I'm excited for. We hit 2,500 on the Paladin. We're going to go push that up a little more because I want to actually turn him into my main for Season 3, I think. We did get a couple upgrades. We crafted our wrists, and then I believe we also crafted our weapon, which he currently is not wearing because he's on the wrong spec. Yeah, there we go. So we have the weapon and we have the wrist crafted. Paladin's now up to 654, 2,500 IO. Let's open the vault. We did get another heroic boost while I was working the one day. I signed up for one, got in, and here we go. Let's take a look at what we get. We opened it in Prospect, starting off with a neck piece. Ooh, this is very heavy mastery. Darn. It was haste. That's okay. And then we have the miniature roulette wheel. Haste first. Not bad. Okay. Okay. And then we have the crit verse belt, which is also a major upgrade because we have a champion track. Then taking a look at our dungeon vault slots, we have mythic shoulders, which we already have. And then we have first mastery mythic track legs. So not really bad. I'm going to go sim these two items. Let me see what these look like. So unfortunately for me, like, the worst part about this vault is all of these stats kind of suck. The best thing that I have, there's too much mastery on this. These just, verse mastery is my worst stats. Verse mastery is the worst stats. Crit verse, the crit's fine, but it replaces the crit haste avoidance. So for now, I'll just keep that. So what I'm going to do is take the miniature wheel. There's so much haste on this, and it is a 13k DPS increase. So we're going to take the miniature wheel. We're going to throw some sockets in it, so I'm kind of excited to at least have that with a +1 luck. And we'll have to run right again to try to get the shield for the Paladin. And with that, the vaults are done. Let's jump in and talk about the new mounts we got this week. Starting with this one here, it is from Visions, the Void's card. Wind Rider, you need to have 3 masks to be able to see it. But here it is, just another Wind Rider that is basically a Void form. Nothing really that special in my opinion. And the other mount we got is the one from the trading post that you get once you complete this month's journey, is the Molten Chimera, and I really love the model of this mount. We had the blue one last week from the trading post. This week it's the molten one, and I absolutely love how this model looks. They did a fantastic job with it. I hope we see more of these models. This is definitely favored on a couple characters, and they will use it for. And the last thing we will talk about, as we always do, is our gold farming for week 15. How did we do? How are the things looking? So it's funny enough that the week started off very, very slow, and I had my concerns that if we were going to make anything, because it felt like the season really is dying down, even though we probably have like another 2 months of the season left. Not a lot of sales. It was really near the end of the week, so Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, where I got some of the sales. So luckily enough for week 15, we still hit our 100,000 gold mark that we want to aim for every week, and we made a total of 179,543 gold. Not a bad week for being concerned about it so far. Again, this week has started slow. We'll see what it looks like at the end of week 16. And that's it. That's all. We've covered the things that I wanted to cover in the video, and the main thing was 11.17 and season 2 as a whole just being a season and patch of increased power. Really nothing exciting. Looking forward to week 16. I am hoping that we get Gallywix down quickly. Maybe we'll have Wednesday off. Would be nice to maybe just do some keys with people because they'll be around. I might do a little bit of restocking of my auctioneers, see if I can get them some more unique items, because I am actually not running low, but I have sold quite a bit of stuff over the last few weeks and I haven't been restocking. I now only have my monk left to finish the 2500 IO challenge, so I'm thinking maybe I'll put some time into the monk this week, run some 7s and 8s and see how they feel, get some more gear, get some upgrades, and see if we can just hit 2500 in the monk, and then we'll have all tanks at 2500, and that challenge will be complete, so we can talk about it in the following week. And outside of that, maybe I'll do some pushing, maybe I'll do some Mythic Plus pushing. I'm honestly not sure. This Sunday I won't be streaming because it's going to be beautiful outside, and I'm actually dog sitting for a friend of mine, so I won't even be at home. I'll be out of town, and that is really it. So as always, let me know down in the description how you guys feel with this patch. Do you feel it's just we keep getting more and more power and it brings you back for a couple weeks to do the new thing that you gotta get? But like, really, if you're not pushing content even with the new thing, you're not going to care about it. So are you coming back and trying these things? Let me know down in the description below. Let me know what you think of this entire season. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for coming back week over week. Until next time, I'll see you guys in Khazalgar, Mythic Plus, or just somewhere in the world of Azeroth. Peace out, everybody.